This little girl manages to infiltrate a high-security prison to see her mentally ill father. Her father was accused of murdering a little girl. However, she finds a way to be with her father in any case. The truth behind this accusation holds dark and unsettling secrets that could change everything. The little girl Yesin is only 6 years old, and Younggu is her mentally retarded father. He promises his daughter to buy her a backpack tomorrow, but it was just bought away in front of their eyes. Lee touched another man's child, for which he gets slapped in the face from his father. In the evening, he promises his daughter that he will find the exact same backpack. In the morning, the girl, escorting the distended father to work, corrected his clothes and admonished him. Younggu received his paycheck, and the same girl with the backpack comes up to him and says she will show him where the same one is sold. The man ran after her. In the evening, the little girl waited for her father's to come home from work, but to no avail. He has been detained and for some reason is not allowed to go home. A crowd of reporters gathered outside the doors. It turned out that the dead girl is the daughter of the police officer. Younggu will now be brought in for an investigative experiment. Her daughter also came here. The crowd around them wants an answer. Father and daughter saw each other and ran toward each other, but he was pushed into a car. He yelled out that he would be home soon. The young guard reports to the warden that the very prisoner the whole town is talking about has been brought to them. The man saw the telephone in the office and immediately decided to call his daughter. The warden first handed him the phone and then beat him up. A man entered the restroom. He got scared because he gave him a tough time at night. Younggu was brought in. The other guy is also in the cell. This preacher was a gangster at his time. This grandpa was caught for being a fraudster. Schuler told the new guy to introduce himself, but he told a lot more about himself. Everyone gets embarrassed by his being crazy. Boss ordered the man to take the file and read why he was jailed. When Boss heard about the thing which he committed. Meanwhile, Yesin has been placed in an orphanage because she had nobody who could take care of her. The men make soccer balls on the prison grounds. The bespectacled man put something in one of them. In the yard, winking at the guard, the boss threw it over the wall. On request, the ball was returned, but another, with new toys. Another boss decided to deal with Boss. Realizing that he was in danger, Younggu defended his neighbor. After dealing with that man, Boss now wants to repay Younggu for his rescue, and he only wants his daughter. Later, the prisoners were brought to a church choir performance. Among the little kids was his daughter. She didn't end up here by accident. Now the man is taking her in a box on a cart through the prison corridors. Getting nervous, he overturned the boxes and almost got caught in front of the guards. The man is sweating like never, but got the girl into the cell. The girl climbed out of the box of buns and was very happy to see her daddy. Yesin beats him with her hands and asks why he disappeared. She has been waiting for him for so long. Because of this, there was a fuss, and the man got scared and decided to call the guards. A guard came running up, and he was about to tell everything, but the girl took him by the finger and looked into his eyes pityingly. He gave up and simply asked the guard for some bread. The prisoners are amazed that the idiot got such a smart daughter. She doesn't understand what her good daddy is doing behind bars. They're all bad, but her daddy's good. The girl was supposed to spend 2 hours with her daddy, but the pastor got sick and she has to leave now. Now the girl in the box has to be brought back, but the man didn't get there in time. The bus has already left and the little girl is left in the cell to be with her father. The man with glasses suggests sending the girl back in 2 days, when it's a holiday. They'll definitely have a choir coming again. Before going to bed, Yesin instructs her father to speak clearly and loudly to the judge. During a nighttime inspection, the cellmates became alarmed. A petty guard thought he heard a girl's voice, but it was allegedly the man squeaking. The operation to getting out the girl began. While the man distracted the guards, the boss brought her to the assembly hall. The only trouble was that this time, instead of a choir, they brought Buddhist monks to the prison. The plan was prepared by this man, so the blows go to him. The warden chooses photos for publication and notices that one of them is missing, and it's a little girl, Yesin. This man says that he should have shaved Yesin bald and thrown her to the Buddhists. A petty guard runs up to the camera, and it would seem that he has already been escorted out. But then the warden himself saw the child. Taking Yonggu outside, he began beating him, recalling the little girl murder. Now the guards are looking all the cameras, and Yonggu is tied up alone. At the orphanage, Yesin cries constantly. The second boss has started a fire. He freaked out that a fellow inmate had his daughter living with him for a few days, and his father isn't even allowed to visit. All he wants is happiness for the mentally ill father and his daughter. He's locked himself in a storage room with a can of gasoline and demands to be allowed to talk to the father. After mocking on them, he says, "I'm an orphan, you idiots." The fool locked himself in another room, but the warden broke in and tries to rescue him. Yonggu saw them both lying on the floor and ran in after them. The warden woke up in the infirmary. His life was saved by Yonggu while inhaling smoke. Yesin went to the teacher and asked the girl to meet her dad, who was in jail though. That was the only way she had a chance to see him again. But the time flew by too quickly. It seems the warden is not in a hurry to interrupt them. The guard has to pull Yonggu away from his daughter. In the evening, the boss remembers his young son. He is informed that Yonggu's daughter has stopped eating and is now in the hospital. The warden comes to check on her and the girl asks to be arrested. He had an idea. The latter brought a gift from the warden especially for cell number 7. And it was not a rice cake at all, but Yesin. The joyful Yonggu was brought to the warden's office so that he could thank him with cakes. While he was gone, the prisoner took a picture of him and his son. The man didn't like it. The warden asks, why did he kill the girl? Meanwhile, Yesin asks boss to read to her, but he can't read. The warden takes an interest in Yonggu's case. It turns out that his son passed away. Afterward, he picks up Yesin to bring her back to her father. Boss is being taught literacy by the whole camera. He slows down, and even Yonggu calls him a fool. A girl borrowed a cell phone from a classmate and carried it to the cell. This man gets connected with his wife, who informs him that she has given birth to a daughter. But the signal keeps dropping out. Running around the cell, the men found out that the best catch is next to the toilet. Together, they chose a name for the girl: Bombsome. Alas, the battery only lasted for one call. A young guard informs Yonggu that he has one last court hearing and needs to be well prepared for it. Yonggu is told by the cameraman how it really happened. First, the man himself slipped on the slippery pavement, and then the girl. Falling to the pavement, she shattered her head. Altogether, they are trying to make an accurate picture of how it all happened. The girl fell exactly on the back of her head because she was pulled backwards by the backpack. It happened on February 27th. It was bath day in the zone, but the water was turned off because the pipe froze. It was very cold, and there was ice everywhere in the market all the time. But there was also an abrasion on her forehead, and there was a brick lying nearby. If she fell, she could have hit the tent where the brick was. Why did he take off her pants? Yonggu answers, to loosen the belt and not to prevent the blood from circulating. And then, as they taught him at work, he did cardiac massage and artificial respiration. And at the end of it, he has to bump, pinch, and clap. It's all cardiopulmonary care. 2013. Former inmates testify. But the prosecutor suggests that testimony from a former gangster and a crook be disregarded. After arguments, his objection is overruled. The next witness is the warden, at which point we go back to 1997. The warden comes to the commissioner to ask for a review of Li Yong's case. In his cell, they continue to prepare him for the meeting and teach him how to answer questions correctly. He memorizes the text both while jogging and at a push. His cellmates constantly ask him tricky questions. He says that the police beat him and blackmailed him with his daughter so that he would take the blame. A lawyer is here to see him. He asks him if he know any policemen. Yes, the police. The murdered girl's father is the head of the scary people, and he can hurt him and his daughter. The chief shows the lawyer Yonggu's confession, which is written too abstruse for a mentally challenged man, but the lawyer doesn't care. Later, he rides on the bus with him and asks him to rally at the trial for his daughter's sake. The session begins. Lee Yong-gu, according to the prosecution, kidnapped the police commissioner's daughter to get back at him for a fight at the store, and molested and did this to her with a brick. The defendant is silent. He recalls how the commissioner beat him right in front of the court and ordered him to confess to everything, or he would do the same to Yesin. The prosecutor asks if he hit the girl with a brick, and he finally says he did. When he saw his daughter, he repeated it even louder. The warden yells at him and also at the judge that they shouldn't listen to the defendant because he is mentally retarded. And only the commissioner is calm. Yesin accuses the lawyer of working against the client, and the whole case against her father was fake. He was threatened and beaten. Fatal for the girl was hitting the back of her head against the pavement, not a brick. But at that time, Yesin was only a little girl and could not defend her father. Prosecutors in connection with Yong-gu's confession are demanding the death penalty, and the judge approves it. Now Yesin lives with the police chief's family. She continues to visit her father, writing him letters. The order for Lee Yong has come. The date is December appointed. The warden asks the teacher to let Yesin go to jail one more time. He's got an idea. While Yong-gu is molding snowmen, his comrades are thinking of ways to save him. Now the conspirators are constantly working on something in the back room. Yesin is brought to the prison to sing with the prisoner again. The girls went to the hall, took them by the hands, and led them out into the courtyard. There was already a very real balloon there, which the cellmates had been working on all this time. Later, they put Yong-gu and her daughter inside and untied the balloon. The girl says goodbye to everybody happily, seeing it even a guard was ready to let them go. But they couldn't go home. The rope got caught on the barbed wire and the balloon hung up. But they spent a beautiful moment together, watching the sunset. It was December the appointed day. The date of the execution coincided with Yesin's birthday. She receives gifts, the most important of which is backpack she dream of. Yesin thanks Yong-gu for being her father. He thanks her for being his daughter. The warden rips Yong-gu's fake confession. Yong-gu himself says goodbye to his friends and thanks them for everything they have done to help him. They all wrote on his uniform that they love him. Now Yong-gu has to say goodbye to his daughter. She promises to bring him lots of A's on his report card next time and wishes him a Merry Christmas. They are separated by the bars. Father and daughter stare at each other until Yong-gu is dragged around the corner. There, his legs gave out. The girl sensed something wrong and called out to her father. He broke free, ran up to her, and hugged her tightly through the bars. He is in despair, asking the warden and the young guard to help, to save him. But it is already too late. At the end of the hearing, Yesin asks that her father be acquitted. The judge says that the confession was tricked out of the accused and passed off as true. Also, the testimony of the prosecution witnesses was insufficient for the death sentence. Lee Yong-gu is found not guilty 16 years after the execution. In the end, we see Yesin looks at her father's picture and cries a lot. As she walks outside, she sees her lovely daddy on that balun, thinking why they couldn't make it out that day. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. See you very soon. Just click to watch more.